Bring me home out alone to show me the way. You wanna be a part of Sunset Boulevard. I woke up.
It's Wednesday, not Wednesday. I guess it's Wednesday too. I don't know. It could be Wednesday where you are if the wind is blowing. All right, let's try this again. It is Wednesday. Theron was playing, and there's a loudmouth in your face, so it must be time for pACT. How's everybody doing today? My name is Zach Clayton. I am the president and founder of Community Pay Up Forward, Community Dare to Care, and this wonderful channel that everybody's hanging out on right now. We have a lot of great news coming tonight because we have a lot of brand new partners coming on with us. I've got a new sister and two brothers that you're going to meet tonight in the program that are all excited about when you make a purchase with them, they're going to donate to a cause that you love. We've got Alistair Banks, a great author. I met her last week when we did an interview that went so fantastic. I mean, she's inspiring. She's got so many books and so many ideas, kids' books, journals that can really help people figure stuff out in their own heads, which are great things. And we had a great conversation today. She is our newest of all of our partners. Then we've got Mr. Puma Richards from Jay Galt, who's going to be coming on. Great friend. Puma and I have been doing a little bit of talking back and forth for a while. And we're going to find out how we can help small businesses by guaranteeing them a $50,000 loan within a year if they follow the Jay Galt way. So there's, any of you small businesses that are out there that are looking for a way to make sure that you can keep running, Jay Galt is probably one of the great people that you want to talk to, one of the great partners that you want to talk to. And then also signing with us today is another really, really good friend of mine. We've spent a good portion of today talking back and forth. Mr. Michael Latone, who, he's also in the financial world, which is, I can't say enough about it. Everybody here has something great to offer. And the wonderful thing about it is that they're not only wanting to offer these great things to you, but they're also offering you to help somebody else. So we're going to be bringing on Alistair, Puma, and Michael here just shortly. But we're excited to have them all on because every single one of them have signed within the last 2 weeks. Puma, believe it or not, you're the old man here. So, which probably bad since I'm older than he is, I'm pretty sure. But hey, we need your help still. We're going to be talking here briefly about our friends at Hope Stock. Hopestock has been going through some financial troubles with sponsors. We know times are tough right now, but you've really got to remember that there is something special going on July 29th, 30th, and 31st. You can get your brand name in front of close to 3 million people when you sponsor Hopestock. Hopestock is all about saving veteran lives, finding homes for veterans, giving them the job, giving them jobs, giving them hope. That's what it's all about. Just trying to give them hope. Hello, Irene from Tokyo. Uh, but they need your help. So please get a hold of them at contact at projectdiehard.org. That's contact at projectdiehard.org. In a week and a half here in Boulder, I'm not in Boulder. Okay. God, please don't think I'm in Boulder. The People's Republic of Boulder. It's something. Oh, it's a lovely city. They're just full of a bunch of wackadoos. But I love all my friends in Boulder, all two of you. So, I love you dearly. So, but John Vogels of Martyred Angels has his event going on, and we're looking for sponsors for that too. So, of course, if there's anything that you can help any of our friends with and sponsors, just go to our whacked calendar and you can take a look at their sponsors are always needed at every event there is. Okay, so please go and check it out. We do have a very busy show tonight, so you guys get a special treat. I'm shutting up early. So I'm going to shut up early and I'm going to bring on the people who are actually exciting to talk to, especially for me, because they have joined the Community Pay It Forward fundraising program, which means that every time you shop with them, you're making a difference in someone's life. We're going to do this by welcoming in Miss Alistair Banks, a great author, Mr. Puma Richards from J. Galt, and Mr. Michael Latone from Stride. How are you all doing?
Great.
Great.
I kind of wish I had that cheering section thing going.
Yeah.
Hey, hey, but instead I'll just do the wave.
Yeah.
One man wave. So probably just threw out a shoulder doing that. So, but it's still fun. Alistair, we're going to start with you. Welcome to the show. Welcome to pACT. And you and I had a great conversation today because you and I had a great conversation last week. We learned quite a bit about what you are doing and the great stuff that you are continuing to do. You're an author of different age novels, including Christian. Let me see if I can remember this. Christian. It's not fiction novels for young ladies, right?
Right.
You also do books with kids and journals.
Yes.
What do you do with your spare time?
Yeah, so I enjoy reading. I like to go for nature walks. I love performing arts. I love art and music and just being able to enjoy the local downtown life at night. Listen to local bands, grabbing good food and wine. So all those different things.
Oh, that sounds good. So tell us a little bit about this really fascinated me when we talked about this last week, but tell me about your series of books, the Christian fiction books.
Yeah, so I've been working on a Christian fiction series and it's called Girl Rise. So this is a fictionalized account of my life. So I consider Allie Billings to be my alter ego. And so I think she kind of like every, teenage, girl or boy who goes, through life trying to find themselves, trying to figure out what things they're interested in life. But I feel though Allie kind of placed her self-worth on leisure activities, academics, certain peer groups, just trying to fit in and find herself. When all along your self-worth is found within your heart, like what makes you as a person also found through Jesus Christ as well, and what God has to say, about you through scripture.
How many of the series are out right now and how many are you working on?
So the first book is out and I've written the second book And so I'm just been working on trying to edit that and publish that as well.
I've got to ask, and it's just because I know what it's like trying to edit even videos that we do here. How frustrating is it when you go back and you start reading through your own stuff and you're like going, "What did I write here?" Or what time of day was it when I wrote this? Why do I have the chicken chasing a pickle? What am I trying to say here? How frustrating is it to go through your own work and have to kind of tear it apart a little bit?
Um, it can be, kind of a little frustrating because trying to figure out, like you said, what time of day you're writing, or if your brain is thinking faster than you're writing. So I think it's all about just pacing yourself when it comes to writing, not rushing the process, just making sure that you have everything in place from the plot to the characters to the theme of the story, how you want the end result of the book to be like.
No, that's yeah. Like I said, it was always kind of one of those things that anybody who self-produces, or self-publishes and self edits it. I know it can be frustrating when I do it, but I just always wondered if is this a problem that everybody else has? Because this is a problem that I know it frustrates me. I have to get up and walk away from it a couple times, or I end up acting like a baboon that just saw a lollipop and throwing stuff around. So it's not a great thing. You also have kids books out, and you and I were talking about how we're going to work together this coming up holiday season to get some of your kids books into hospitals for kids who have to spend time in the hospital over the holiday season. Can you tell us about them?
Yes, so I have two children's picture. And like you mentioned earlier, I have the gratitude journals for all ages, and I have one for children's and teens. So my picture books are called A Colorful Balloon Ride and Lenny the Lizard and His Green Scarf. So a colorful balloon ride helps preschoolers and kindergartners how to identify and match colors. So I decided to use the theme of the county fair because that was just one event that my best friend Emily and I would love to go to when that time of the year came. So we just love enjoy the county fair, seeing nature, tasting our first snow cone of the year, you know, and seeing. Now, one thing I loved in the colorful balloon ride was when my illustrator illustrated the sun, and so it was just so bright and happy. And she also, one thing I loved this on the sun too. And like Emily and I love seeing all the animals at the county fair and just experiencing that really fun, exciting event.
We do actually. We have a lot of county fairs, obviously, that are starting up right now, and it is kind of weird that when you look at them now as an older, I say this word loosely, adult. They're not as much fun as they used to be, and now that my children are grown up and out of the house, it's really almost become more of a hassle to get to them. I guess I'm kind of looking forward to having foster kids in the home here pretty soon because I want stuff like that to be fun again. But when you go and they look at you and you try to squeeze into a bumper car and they're like, oh no, no, not you, no, not you. That kind of makes the it not as much fun. But
Yeah.
you are able to relive this in your writing, all of these great things.
Yeah.
What one, does that keep you going? And two, does that mean that you're going to continue to do this for a while?
Yes, I want to be able to continue to do this for a while. And so the second picture book that I wrote is called Lenny the Lizard and His Green Scarf. So we kind of briefly talked about that book today.
Yep.
And so Lenny uses his green scarf to help his woodland friends to feel happy all over again when they're sad. And so this was inspired off of the fact that I received a green sweater when I was little. And so the green sweater just gave me, that peace of mind and just comfort that I needed when I felt, sad. And, everybody loves, most people love blankets. So blankets are just a thing of comfort. So I think I tied that in with the green scarf. And, green is just a color of harmony and peace.
Okay. And can you explain what is so important about the gratitude journals?
So the gratitude journals just helps children to, get out of that negative kind of lack mindset, and also for teens and for, for us as adults as well. And I try to invoke in the children's gratitude journal being able to love your body and be able to love yourself at a younger age, loving your hair, loving your eyes, loving your body features, loving your smile. And also, I have some Disney quotes in the gratitude journal for kids too that help kids to be optimistic about life as well.
Like, what kind of quotes do you have in there?
Let's see. Actually, I have the gratitude journal right here on hand. I can just flip to one of the pages. Let's see. And this one is from Winnie the Pooh, and it says, "You are braver than you believe, stronger than you seem, and smarter than you think."
See, I think that that's great. I think a lot of times right now, and we all know as kids that times were confusing, and
Yeah.
I like the way that that you talk about getting them to enjoy their smile and stuff like that, and I think one of the things that we never did as kids is we never really focused on yeah, there you go. And I think one of the things that we never did as kids is we never focused on what made us different.
Yeah.
So, but going ahead, let's see, I am grateful today. And what does it say after that?
Then the child can just write one thing that made them smile that day, and in the box here they can draw or write one thing that brought them joy. And on the bottom it has like my mood, so they can bubble in how they're feeling that day. So that's another great way for children to monitor their emotions, and just kind of having a day to day thing of seeing, where they're at.
Have you had any input from parents about what that has done for kids?
So they've enjoyed it for their children. And also Amelia Roman pointed out to me that, kids kind of like learn things in threes. So having like writing down three things that a child is grateful for is a great exercise for them. So it's something that's, I guess, in a sense, repetitive maybe, or keeping things in a sequence. I guess it's the right word to say.
Okay. So one of the things, gentlemen, that we love to do on this show is we love to make sure that our other guests don't have any questions, because I can't think of all the questions. I, I can act like I'm a professional. I'm not. But if you guys have any questions, please do jump in, and make sure that you ask.
Yeah.
So, have
And
you had any? Yeah, this is the adult one, or
now this is the one for teenagers. And
oh, okay.
let's see. I have the one for the adults here too.
What what was the different mindsets when you went into writing those,
So
um, or putting them together? Sorry.
I guess being able to put these together was just trying to research and figure out what are teens struggling with and what are adults struggling with.
Mm.
So that's how I came up with the affirmations at the bottom of each page for the journals.
Okay. And what kind of stuff do you ask for? Are they basically the same questions for every day for the teens and the adults, or do you try to delve into something a little bit different?
So the prompts are basically the same, but I guess the affirmations is geared towards a certain age group. So, and also I have coloring pages in these books too. So
That's that's interesting that you do, because one of the things that we really did find is when we were doing this chili cook-off and toy drive, one of the things that we got a lot of requests for were color pages uh, for teens and pre-adults. They loved things like that, so I think that that's a great idea. What do you incorporate into the adult one that's a little bit of fun, that's a little bit of time passing?
so I would say the coloring pages again, just kind of just a more of a dynamic coloring page for the adults. And then I have some quotes. One of them has a quote that went across. Let's see here. Uh, it says I am powerful. Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's cool. And Alistair, where can people pick these books up at?
So they can purchase the books on Amazon, and you can also go on my website and purchase them there as well.
And can we get your website from you?
Yes. And I can just write in the chats for you.
Okay. And then we'll go on ahead and we'll put that out to everybody.
Okay.
So, but well, we thank you very much for joining us, Alistair, and we will get back to you when we start the roundabout. Please make sure that you stick around and ask any questions that you have of anybody. And next, I'm going to bring up my buddy Puma. He is the elder statesman now of the partners here. He's been a partner for more than just hours, which is cool. But how are you doing, Mr. Richards?
Doing fabulous. Thank you. Thanks. I appreciate being on here and the opportunity to chat with everybody, the other panelists here. So looking forward to this.
Yeah, you and I, you actually sent me something the other day. You sent me a video of where were you at during that video?
You know what? I send out so many videos. I'm not sure which one might have sent you.
It was last Friday, and you said I walked into a meeting and I end up being the keynote speaker.
Yeah, that was a Chamber of Commerce, a local Chamber of Commerce meeting that I was at, and what happened was their speaker couldn't. They had an emergency, so they were looking at who was attending that day, and saw my name and said that what, he hasn't spoken, so would he do it? And I said sure, absolutely, and so got my tapping shoes out and tap danced around it. So
It's kind of funny. I'll be in meetings like that, and they'll say, "Okay, well, our speaker didn't show up. Does anybody want to talk?" And I'll be the one, "Ooh, ooh, ooh!" And they're like, "Does anyone want to talk? Anyone at all want to talk?" And of course, I'll be the last one standing. So, it's like, "Oh God, can anyone else please talk?" Puma, you work for a wonderful company and you gave up a good lifestyle, one that you were very comfortable with, to come and work for Jay Galt. Tell us about what Jay Galt does.
yeah, Jay Gold helps business owners, specifically small business owners, build business credit. As business owners, we have so many different challenges and obstacles thrown against us. Think about it, right? You've got minimum wage that you've got to now, deal with. You've got time and attendance. You've got overtime. You've got health insurance. You've got all of these barriers to entry as business owners, and very often we get into our business because we have a passion, we have something that we enjoy, and we figured out a way to make money and help people and solve problems. And all of a sudden now you've got to deal with workers' comp and all of these other Department of Labor regulations and all of that stuff. And so you know Jay Galt has realized that as a business owner, when we start that business, we're very often forced to use our own funds to start that business. And when you start that business and you're using your funds, um, it's often overlooked that you can build business credit. And when you use your own credit and wealth and everything else, you're tying and you're marrying what goes on in that business to what happens, or what your personal wealth. And I've been there, I've done that, I've made that mistake, and that's why it's a crusade for me to get the message out that there's a better way of doing this. That you've got your LLC, and most people think, oh well, that limits my liability in case I'm ever sued. Well, financially, it limits the corporation's exposure to your personal wealth and credit. And so very often, I just saw a statistic today, 90% of the businesses will fail in the first 10 years. 90%. I thought it was 75%. And when they fail, it leaves the business owner with an average of $82,000 on their of debt. Uh,
That was actually one of the points that I was going to bring up from that video that I watched. One of the other things that you said, and excuse me for interrupting, but this is something that I really wanted to make sure that we told people, is that in that video, you also said that, when you take out a business loan, that doesn't mean that you are not tied to that loan, because you tie yourself to that loan unless you have a special kind of credit, and that is a corporate credit, right?
yeah, very often I'll come across folks that say, "Well, I have a business credit card. It's got my business name on it." And I'll say, "Well, did you put your social security number anywhere on the application?" And very often they say yes. And that means you have personally guaranteed that credit card. So if you can't make a payment, guess whose credit score is going to get hit with that? Not the business, your personal side. And guess whose credit score that's going to affect? So if you run it up and max out that credit card, even though it's in the business name, number one, you're not building business credit. And number two, your credit score is getting affected. Your personal credit score is getting affected. So you want to establish a corporate credit card where basically it's just in the business name and your name isn't even on there. And then
See,
that way it's tied to the business, not you.
and I that was something that really, you know, uh, being as uneducated about this whole process as I was, I loved hearing that, because it was like going, wow, that, I mean, it brings up another aspect that a lot of times, look, let's be honest here. A lot of us, when we get into the whole business world, it's like going, well, I'm sick and tired of listening to, this guy yell at me all day, and he gets to earn the money from it. So I want to take and yell at other people and try to earn the money. And we don't think of all the other stuff that comes into it, and we think about all the good we can do, but we don't think about stuff like what you're saying. We sign those LLC papers, and all of a sudden, well, it doesn't matter what I do now. It's all in the business name. Um,
Yeah.
you,
Absolutely. And when you go to most attorneys or CPAs to start that LLC and get the paperwork drawn up, they leave it at that. They don't give you that business. Most of them do not give you that business knowledge of, go out and get your EIN, right? Some of them will tell you to do that. But then beyond that, they don't tell you. And listen, if you Google how to build business credit, not much is going to come up out there. And to me, that's because the banks control it. The banks want you to personally guarantee it because, God forbid, your business fails. They want to come after you personally. Okay. They don't want. Listen, let's face it. Right. We've got a former president who walked away from a couple of failed businesses, and it never affected him personally. It never affected his personal wealth. And it's not that he did anything special. That's what the tax law and the laws and the business laws allow.
Yep, and that's actually one of the things that I remember him saying in one of the debates is I did what the law allowed me to do, and that's exactly what it was, and I remember that. Jay Galt, we're going to get into the process here in a second, but one of the reasons why you and I really clicked, Jay Galt has uh, a policy when it comes to this program, and it's a policy that touches my heart personally, touches your heart, and really made this business relationship more secure, because it makes it, it ties it all together. Can you tell us about this?
Yeah, the owner of J Gold, Cole Wyan, great gentleman, smart business person, owns a bunch of businesses, has dedicated the profits of the business to go to charity. Um, and so this is his baby. He could be working on one of the other businesses, but he has made sure that this is going to be successful because every dollar of the profit is going to go to charity. And it just says wonders and volumes about the folks that we have here at J Galt, but about the leadership and that we have. Cole is a wonderful guy. One wonderful gentleman.
Yeah, and I know that we were trying to get a meeting set up with the owner, but he was busy on that day, so I ended up getting to meet another of your leadership team. And I'll be honest with you, I was even more excited after talking to him and expressing what we do, and so this is something that I'm looking forward to. I mean, there's not a person on this panel today that I'm not overly excited about, because I see so much partnership potential here, from the books to the financial help that both you, Puma, and Michael. I mean, I can't wait for you to hear Michael's story, because I don't know if you two even know each other, but you guys right now, I'm going to tell you something. You guys are going to be changing phone numbers after the end of this, because you're both doing something to really take and help small businesses succeed. So I mean, it's one of the greatest things in the world. Tell us about the J Galt system. What's the first step?
So what we've done is we've created a 7-step process that helps business owners build business credit. And and with business credit versus personal credit, when it comes to your personal credit, you turn 18 and there's a magic number that is assigned to you, and it's anywhere from 350 to 850, and it's based off of a very complicated formula, and many factors go into that. With business credit, less than 7% of the vendors and lenders out there actually report your good payments. So you could have that credit card, have that corporate credit card, all right, but it might not report to the bureaus. And I've run across that where people have had credit cards for years, thinking that they're building business credit, and actually when we pull their scores, they have nothing. And so what I tell folks is you have to be intentional when it comes to building business credit. It's like going to the gym, right? You've got to go to the gym in order to get that beach body. You've got to diet, you've got to exercise. And same thing with building business credit. You've got to be intentional, and you've got to be strategic. Now, the problem is most people don't know what vendors will report to what bureaus. Well, that's the magic sauce that we have. We've got a software system that has over 1,300 vendors on it, and we have the underwriting requirements. So, who do they report to? Who will their ideal prospect or client look like? And so this is not a system where you apply and hope that you get approved. So in our 7-step process, you're actually assigned a certified credit analyst that's going to hold your hand through this process and guide you and say, okay, now go to Staples, now go to Lowe's, go to Toyota, go to Ford, go to Dell, go to Apple. And you're not going to get, denied, because we're not going to waste your time or money with that. And so as we walk through the 7 steps, the first is building that foundation. And I say it all the time. You would never show up to a date wearing sweatpants, hopefully, but why would your credit application give the impression that you're wearing sweatpants? And there's over 120 different factors that they look at when they look at your loan application or your credit application. And so some of the mistakes that I see is that where um, simple things. The number one reason for business denial of credit is potential fraud. And so if you have a PO box, right, instant denial. If you have a Gmail account, let's say, you are going to get denied. So if you have larrysdex@gmail.com, instant denial. If your phone number is not registered with the 411, instant denial. If you're not registered with the state, things like that, and so on. And so we want to make sure that we fix that. We help everybody with getting that foundation set before we go and apply for the what I call gimme accounts. Those are the ones that are going to give you that instant credit, and then you'll be able to build on that. And so that's really from there. Once you get through tier one, which might be a Uline, a Staples, and some of those smaller accounts, then you're getting into the tier two, tier three. Tier two might be the Amazons, the Home Depot, the Lowe's, and so on. And when you apply, the number one reason for getting more credit is paying ahead of time or paying on time. It's not how much the company makes. It's not any of these other factors. It's as long as you make the payments on time or ahead of time, what's going to happen is when they submit that to the credit bureaus, reporting agencies, they're going to give you a suggested amount of credit limit. So now you go from 500 to 1,500, go from 1,500 to 5,000, and 5,000 to 10,000. And so that's really the idea here is we're trying to build that and move you through the tiers. And like you said at the beginning of this, we guarantee that, and it takes time, right? Like anything, it takes the better part of a year, but within that year, we guarantee $50,000 worth of funding. Otherwise, we'll work for free. And guess what? I hate to work for free, and so does Cole. So we're going to work at everything that we can to make sure that you get funding. Now, we've had people get 600,000, and that was an anomaly. But a lot of our clients walk away, at about 12, 14 months with 100, 150,000 of credit. And that's a game changer. Now, got to be careful with it, right? Because getting $100,000 or $150,000 from Toyota or Ford, probably going to go out and spend that.
Yeah.
And so that's where we have other services like cash flow mapping. We've got a fractional CFO, business evaluation. So we've got all these other value added packages that don't cost the members anything more other than their monthly fee. And so we're trying to, again, help those small business owners, because if you go out to a CPA or an attorney to get a business evaluation, guess what? It's going to cost you $5,000 or $10,000 most likely. If you go and do cash flow mapping, another $5,000 or $10,000. So, we're just trying to create value for our clients and our members.
Well, we like I said, this is one of the this is one of those shows that it was kind of put together because of conversations that we've had over the last week. But with you and Michael, there's a great chance that you two can work together to help people, because I'm going to ask you to please make sure that you stick around, because you've got so much more to give us, Puma. But we're going to bring up Michael now, because you know what, Michael, you could take and help these individuals get to that initial beginning fee that they need to start with Puma. How do you guys do that?
Yeah, I work with a company called Stride Solutions, and what we do is we specialize on giving back to the small business owner in the way of federal tax incentives that are current and that they could cash in on right now today. That's basically what we're doing. What we like to say is 90% of businesses out there, for profit or nonprofit, can benefit from at least one or more of our services.
Yeah, you guys do. It's hard to keep up with everything that the government puts on the table that you're able to that you're available, you have available to you. You
Right
guys
now,
specialize in that, correct?
the top fund that we're dealing with right now is employee retention tax credits. And what this is it's an amazing fund that came out when the CARES Act introduced PPP and ERTC at the same time. This was back in March of 2020. Okay. Now, at that time, you were only able to choose one of those funds, PPP or ERC. Most people chose PPP because you can get it pretty much everywhere. You can go to your 7-Eleven and get PPP. Everybody was doing it, right? Now, they've opened up the doors where you can do both. And they've made it easier to apply. They've opened it up to other areas of business that were not qualifying at that point in time. So the result is that the ERTC funding of $400 billion is still practically there because it's totally been underutilized because of those facts. And then people would go to their CPA and say, what about ERC? Can you do that? And he's like, that's a 300-page document. That's kind of complicated. It's only going to be around a couple of years. I'm not going to mess with it. You probably don't qualify anyway. So people walk and they go away and they don't cash in on it. But what we're doing now is we have a specific team of individuals that work on certain areas, and they work to maximize the benefit of the ERC credits that are due to the employees. And like I said, all we need is W-2 employees, 1, 2, 3, doesn't matter. As long as it's other than business owner and immediate family members of the business owner. Any other W-2s would qualify up to 500 W-2s for each individual company. And they have to have shown a little bit of a hit on their bottom line over the last couple of years. That's the other requirement. So we're looking at something that most companies have experienced some kind of a supply chain issue. There's that key word there, supply chain issue, right? It means a lot of different things. Let's say if we're talking restaurants, what was their supply chain? Was mouths to feed, right? They didn't have mouths to feed. They lost income. They had to let some people go. And then, they brought them back eventually when the doors opened back up. Auto dealers couldn't get parts. They're still selling used cars at top price right now because they can't get parts. Manufacturing couldn't get chips and widgets and stuff like that. When you think about it, it's interesting to make a list of companies that were hit by supply chain issues. And one of them that came up like a surprise to me was people that organize like special events and things like that. I mean, what happens at a special event? People get together and they talk and they're in close proximity. And guess what? None of that happened during COVID. So
yeah,
that's an area that we can really help people out with. Yeah.
People who do not have the qualifications, people who don't have the W-2s to utilize your program, is there anywhere that they can go that you know of? And this is kind of just an off the cuff because of that example that you just used.
Yeah.
The individual who performs our theme song, Darren Roberson, he's a musician, and the last 2 years have royally kicked him right where it hurts. And is there anywhere for like our artists, for our restaurant people to go to? Because there's a lot of those that it's ran by family.
There's probably some grants and government assistance that they could apply for if they haven't already. That would be an area that I would, probably look into a little more detail before I gave anybody any recommendations in that particular area. But we primarily work with companies that have W-2s, like I said. But if they're hiring employees, there's something called WOTC. It's a fund available for employers to get from the government anywhere from $2,400 to $9,600 to hire individuals that might have been in a specific category that made it harder for them to find a job. Let's say maybe they were a veteran, maybe they were lacking some training, maybe they're head of household, maybe they're struggling to make ends meet. They make it an even playing field by bringing in those credits. So if a company has two individuals and they both qualify for the job, they're probably going to hire the one that they're going to get the $2,400 on, right? Because it's going to benefit them and it's going to benefit the person that's applying. And they fill out this form before they actually apply for the position. And they can do that as many times as they want. So when we actually look to fill out an application, we need like 4 things. We need number of employees total, number of employees you hire every year. We need a basic estimate of the property value if you own the property. and a basic estimate of your payroll for a year. From there, we can crunch it down to like 8 different areas that we can possibly go into in more detail. We set up a 20-minute conference call, and we see where we want to go, and you don't pay a dime until we find some money for you. And that's how it works.
And this is something that this isn't going to cost them in the long run. This isn't like getting them loans.
No.
This is all grant money.
If I could say something, right? That's the magic of this system, is that the business owner isn't paying anything unless you are successful, right? I mean, that's the beauty of it. So there's really no risk to them.
No. I mean, if we let's say we come up with 120,000 for a company or whatever, we do charge a 15% fee, but they're getting $100,000. I mean, that's the thing. Now the IRS used to be backed up with the ERC funding, and it used to take 5 or 6 months to get the funding. They've gotten better at that now, where it's maybe 1 or 2 months to wait for that money. But I'll ask anybody: would you wait 2 months or 5 months or 6 months for $500,000? I think they would say yes to that. I mean, that's just.
I know I would have it spent by the time I got it.
Yeah. Well, that would be the problem. Why are you driving that Lamborghini? I didn't know you
Well, I work here with Puma and Michael, so my new company car is is a Ducati. So
Well,
I got a fleet of them now.
What's a hot item right now is the F-150 Lightning.
Yeah. Well, it's a good looking truck. So
people are getting in line for that car, and they're on like a 2-year waiting list. And that vehicle can power a home for like 4 days. I mean, it's a powerhouse, and that's what's happening now. It's really incredible.
Yeah, and what a lot of folks don't know is, because if it's above the weight of, I think it's about 6,000 pounds, they can fully deduct it in their section 179 in their amortization schedule. Whereas typically you'd have to amortize that vehicle, that company car, over a period of time.
Right.
But because it's over 6,000 pounds, they can take it all in 1 year. So really, now that, let's say it costs 50,000, really it's only going to cost them 35,000 because they're getting some deductions off of that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and then because it's electric, you're getting a lot of other benefits, right? You're getting tax credits and other things as well. So, at the end of the day, if you do it in your business, right, it's going to cost you. It could cost you, pennies on the dollar to do that. And great thing about us is Ford is one of our vendors, and so
there you go.
If we get you into the 80s, which is like having an 825 credit score, you're going to get those, sign and drive contracts, and it's all on the business, not your personal credit.
That's great. That's great. You're talking about depreciation and things, and it's one thing that we do when we do cost segregation, which applies to anybody that owns commercial property, and it follows the owner, the person that's responsible to pay the property tax. What we do is we have an engineering study, and we depreciate parts of the property at different rates instead of the standard 39%. So that winds up being a savings there by doing cost segregation. And then we'll actually go to bat for property tax renegotiation as well, and do whatever we can do to lower that number, because who doesn't pay more commercial property tax than they want to? I mean, just about everywhere. I should just go downtown Chicago and go on North and Wells and go back and forth and say, who's paying too much for your property tax? Get in line, and maybe I can help you out. I mean, that's what I should be doing. But I'm going to have
one of those signs.
Yeah, right. That's right. I mean, the thing is about what we do is that it seems to make like total sense. And it's like, why isn't everybody doing it? So I do a lot of one-on-ones with folks with my networking events, and we talk about it. And once they understand it, they go, it's free money. It doesn't cost me a dime. All I need to do is apply. You guys do all the work, and I just wait for the checks to come in. Yeah. And they go, why isn't everyone doing this? And I'm like, I know.
So, I mean, that's one of the great thing I think really about everybody who's sitting here on this call is that, the money that you're going to be earning is way more than the money that you pay out. I mean, it's, and the power of what you're going to be earning here in a small business is just, I mean, just so there's so much opportunity here with all of this. But Michael, you also help out and you have a special heart for the nonprofit. You can also help out nonprofits.
That's right. That's right. With nonprofits, they need to have employees. It's the key thing. It's W-2s. Nonprofits have 1099s. They have W-2s. The ones with W-2s, I can help out with ERC funding easily. And a lot of those guys kind of fall through the cracks because they don't know that that fund is out there and available to them. It's the small to mid-sized companies and probably most of the nonprofits, unless they're very huge and they have a high-powered accounting department that's already on top of that kind of stuff. So it's sort of a niche market, the small to mid-sized companies and nonprofits that need to know about these federal tax incentives that are out there right now and available. All they need to do is apply.
Yeah, there's a lot of times that nonprofits aren't aware of everything that is available to them.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
If I could say something, Michael, I talk with a lot of business owners like yourself, and I often walk away from those calls or those Zooms saying this is like a no-brainer, for them to do this or to, think this way, right? If you think about it, small business owners have the same opportunities to run their business like an Amazon, a Walmart, or an Apple. Yet business owners don't, and it's because they're afraid of change, right? They're comfortable where they're at.
Right.
But what the last 3 years have taught us is you have to change in order to survive, and that includes how you manage your money and how you work your cash flow and getting out of your comfort zone. I'll talk with, I'm at the Jersey Shore here, and I'll talk with restaurant owners that have, dealt with everything out of cash for the last 20 years. And they're saying, well, why do I want to change? And, and it's like, didn't you get scared with COVID? What happens when a recession comes?
ERC stands for Employee Retention Tax Credit. That's what it stands for. So what does that mean? That means that we're giving them a reward and paying them back for keeping their head above water for the last 2 years. We base everything on what happened in 2019, which was the last normal year that we had. 2020, 2021 were up for grabs. They're lucky to even still be alive with their business right now. And what we want to do is reward them for that with a bag of money. Employee Retention Credit. They made it. They made it through. They got 2 feet on the ground. Their head is above water. And now we're going to give them a bag of money that they can do whatever they want with.
And not only did they stay alive, Michael, they kept other people alive by keeping them on. That's retention.
That's right. That's right. That's exactly right.
And Puma, what you were just talking about, Walmart, they don't sell their own products.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you actually Google, debt by Walmart or Walmart's debt, you're going to see that right now they're probably about $50 billion in debt. Now, that doesn't hurt their profits because what happens is they owe about 500 different vendors that money. So in essence, they're buying it on consignment. And that's why they have those rollbacks, because that end of that term, that 30, 60, 90-day period is coming to an end and they got to get it off the shelf. And so what happens is they buy it on credit and they got to pay it off in 60 days. And so when they sell it, right, they pay it off and they keep the profit. I mean, it doesn't get any simpler than that. I mean, what I find a lot of business owners do is they chase their bills. So, the lease came in or the rent came in, so I got to pay it. The car came in, the payroll came in, the insurance bill came in, and their revenue, they're trying to match their revenue with it. Why not put it all into one account and pay it all, including payroll, out of that one account, so that when all those revenue and the payments come in, you pay that bill off and you keep the rest. It doesn't get any simpler, but you can't do it without having, the business credit.
Yeah.
And Michael, one of the great things, and like I said, this is one of the reasons why I'm glad to have you guys both on. And I'm sorry that we lost Alistair, but we will please make sure that you check out Alistair and everything that she's doing with her books, and please beware that we are going to be doing a lot of things with her children's books for the chili cook-off. We're just trying to find the right path there, but our suggestion is next time you're looking to buy your child a book, pick up two, sign that book, take it to the hospital and say, you know what? Give this to a kid that has to suffer in this hospital. Let mom and dad read them this book. Give this child a reason to smile. They're in a hospital. Community Pay It Forward's not all about trying to raise money for us. This is about trying to do good with others. And I don't care if we don't earn a dime off that book sale.
Right.
The good thing is that there's a child in that hospital that now is getting a book read to them, delivered by you. And it's just one way that you can just say, you know what? This book is from the Smith family. Give it to a child that comes in here and is suffering. And it's just a way that you can really lift a kid's spirits. So, but one of the things that I really like about what you two can do is that, Michael, they start with you, they get ahead a little bit by doing what they're already doing. And then Puma, they call you and say, hey, we got this little bit of surplus of money. Show us how to use it. Show us how to grow it.
Yeah.
And then keep up both programs. Right here is a way that they can start going from broke and nervous to alive and thriving. So, Michael, how did they get a hold of you the first time? How did they get started with you?
Well, it's very simple. Just a phone call is all you really need. I put my info in the chat, and that has all of my info on there. I could put it in there just as a one little line right now. I can do that to make it a little simpler. But it has every way to get a hold of me: text, email, video. There's a video demo of how all this works in there, of a typical owner of a manufacturing company, and he's doing really good, and his accountant tells him, yeah, you might qualify for this, and he winds up with a big bag of money by the end of the video. What I try to get people to do is what I call activate an account, and basically what that is just calling me up and spending like 5-10 minutes walking them through some basic overall questions: number of employees, number you hire, estimated property value, estimated the payroll, and we're good to go. Now I have some numbers. I say, are you available next week at 3 or the next day at 2? And we set an appointment for about 30 minutes, and we walk through exactly what we can do for them. That's it.
And Puma, it's not much more different when the first time they meet you, is it?
No, it's not. It's not. But we go into more details, and then we see which area they want to concentrate on first, which one might pay off first. Some of them are 3 days a week. Other ones might be a couple of months. It depends on them getting us the proper paperwork that we need, and then we're good to go. That's really about it. It's not hard at all. It's just a matter of getting 5 minutes of their time to fill out this form. And after that, we're good to go, because I'll have an estimate of what we can do for them. So I put in there my Infone account. Infone is a great product where you can put everything on one place, and it's sort of like Linktree on steroids. Okay, Linktree on steroids.
You're already getting a call.
Yeah. Look at that! Yeah. That Infone is magical. Look at this. And actually, one of the greatest things is, folks, with the all-in-one, you can get an Infone, and if you've never seen one, through Community Pay It Forward, you can get an Infone. And truly, if you've never seen one, you want to see it. If you're a business person, they're fantastic. So, but Puma, it doesn't take very long to get set up with you either, does it?
No,
and that's the great thing is there's no guesswork, right? You're either myself or the credit analysts are going to hold your hand. And it takes about an hour and a half a month to work on this. And a lot of that is paying the bills for the month, as well as applying to the vendors and lenders that we advise you to. We can't do that for you, but you have to do it. And so, but it's very easy. And again, you're getting somebody with an MBA that's run businesses, to ask them any question about your business, right? And that's invaluable. I mean, I get excited about that because, it, as a small business owner, a lot of times we're out there by ourselves and we don't have, people to talk to because, it costs money to talk to our accountant. It costs money to talk to our attorney, and so we're afraid to ask questions. And so this is a great opportunity to get, people like Michael and his expertise involved. And then, on our side, getting people that are, and we're big proponents to have small business owners succeed. If you succeed, we all succeed, right?
Yeah, and I was telling people earlier that you gave up a lucrative business to come and do what you do now.
Well, I still have the credit repair business because, what I find is that a lot of times small business owners have challenges with their credit. And because they funded things through their business on their personal side and it messes up their credit. And so a lot of times I show them that by building the business credit and taking the items off their personal credit, will improve their regular credit. And so I still have that, and that's been my baby for the last couple of years. And before that, I was in the home care and healthcare space, and I love that space. And I still engage with folks there. I think I had 2 or 3 calls today from my friends in that space and everything, and we're talking about this stuff because they struggled through COVID, and they have questions about, where do I go from here? How can I help? And so this is really important to get information and to get timely and to get updates as it comes out.
Well, there's nothing better than going into a restaurant that's starting to get customers back in the door now. And you can see the guys grinning from ear to ear on any Friday or Saturday night that they're just thrilled to death that they're almost back in business. And then I'm going to tell them I'm going to potentially deliver them a huge bag of money. They love it. Of course,
Yeah.
that's not the right time to talk to them about it. But you come back on Monday at 11 or 2 o'clock when things have settled down, and then they're going to pay you a little bit of attention. It's a good thing.
Okay, well, let me ask you this right now. We all know that there's, I don't know how to put this politely. So thank God I know the owner of this channel so I can say this. And if it pisses him off, I don't care. We all know that there's a potential shit show of bad things coming. How can your company, and Michael, we're going to start with you. How can your company help lessen what's coming up? Because we know that we're in for some difficult times. We know it's going to happen. There's no denying it.
Mhm.
How can your company help people through this?
Well, basically, once we get somebody enrolled and get them in an activated account, we will go through their account with a fine-tooth comb and go in 8 to 12 different areas that we can help them with, whether it's ERC, whether it's WOTC for hiring new employees, whether it's R&D credits. We do research and development credits that are ongoing every year. They actually are retroactive. They can go back 3 years, and you're actually getting a interest paid from the IRS for money that you didn't claim for R&D credit. So that's kind of an interesting thing. Of course, not everybody's going to qualify for that, but you might think that it has to be a white coat and a lab rat or something, kind of an operation to receive R&D. But it's not necessarily true. It's anything new or innovative or a new design that you're trying out. So it doesn't have to be real technical. It could be anything. It could be like a new recipe or something that you're trying out or whatever. It could qualify as R&D credits, and we'll decide that for you guys. So in addition with those, you've got the property tax negotiations that we'll do. We'll crunch the numbers on property tax. Everybody's getting killed on that. So everything that we do is just going to minimize the amount of money that they're putting out and bringing more money in, so that if they want to expand, if they want to hire new employees, if they have another lull in business, they can get through it now because they have a little bit of bankroll that they could rely on to get through that.
And with what everybody just went through, those ought to be words that, everybody ought to be picking up their phone now. Because, like I said, we do know it's coming. And this isn't like COVID, which all of a sudden we were like, hey, well, people are getting sick. Holy crap, everything's closed down. That was kind of something we didn't really see coming. Well, we know this is coming. So this is a chance to get ahead. Puma, what can you guys do that can maintain somebody through everything that we know is going to happen? What do you guys have to offer?
Yeah. So, and this is what I tell folks all the time right now is start the process because it does take some time, right? But if we start to see that downturn by the end of the year, you're going to have some credit. You're going to have a cushion there that you can fall back on. You'll have the process and the everything in place. But where business credit can help people in a downturn or in high inflation, for example, is let's say you're an electrician or a plumber or construction, whatever, and you're buying the same materials over and over and over again, right? You're going to use that lumber or whatever, or that copper piping or whatever it might be. And now you have an account that you can, if you buy so much and you've got 60 days to pay it back, and guess what? You're going to get a 20% discount. That 20% goes right to your bottom line. And that's going to help offset some of that inflation. And again, you can't do that without business credit. The other piece again is having that capital. And I'm not a proponent of just getting and building business credit so you can go into debt, but having it there in case there is a downturn available. But more importantly, let's say that downturn takes some competitors, and now those competitors have to sell or close up. Now it's that opportunity. You have the capital there to buy your competitors or to buy a second location or whatever. I was talking with a franchisor today, and I said, by promoting this to your franchisees, number one, you're going to make them stronger and more stable. But then now they're going to have the capital to buy more locations, and that's when the light bulb went off. They're like, oh, that's right. We're in the business of selling more territories, more locations as a franchisor. And so that's the opportunity here, right? Is being able to, when those downturns happen, take advantage and buy low, and buy the opportunities.
The ones that are, it's human, it's the law of the land, it's the law of nature. The ones that are prepared are going to survive. The ones that are ready for what's coming up are going to survive. And so I think that this might just my personal thought, getting with you two and having the conversation with you two, first off, isn't going to harm in any way whatsoever. They get to talk to you for free, correct? The first time. As we've already heard, Michael can't find money for you. There's nothing you pay him anyway. So, why not? Puma, it doesn't cost him anything to contact you the first time, right? I don't know why contact just became contact. I think I may have had a stroke there for a second. So, but it doesn't cost anything to contact you the first time.
And we'll do a fundability quiz, to show folks how fundable are you at this point. And that's usually where they say, oh boy, I can't walk out and get that $10,000 loan. I have to put it on my personal credit.
Well, when you start talking about free money from the government, all these red flags go up. It's like, what do you mean? Why? What? From who? The IRS? Yeah. Are you kidding me? I haven't got my return from 2020, and they're giving me free money. Why don't they give me my return? What's going on with that?
And interest, right?
Yeah. Well, I made a huge mistake in the year of 2020 when I filed my return. On the very last day was May 18th, and by that time, you were not allowed to e-file because they wouldn't allow it, and I had to mail it on the very last day. Let me give you a hot tip right here. Don't ever do that again. Okay? Don't ever do that again, because it gets lost in this massive pile of returns, and you can call all day long and go on IRS to go and put in all your stuff and make sure it's correct, and they will tell you absolutely nothing about your return. Nothing. I think I don't even know if we got it. Seriously, I don't even know if we got it. They're processing it. All you can do is wait. Well, then why did I spend 2.5 hours on the phone to find that out? Please.
That's one of the funniest things right there. Is
Just
they
don't
tell you nothing, and then you're like going, really? You had me talk to 16 people to get to you to tell me that
I mean, I got
you
the
can do
script.
nothing.
I printed out the script. If you want to talk to somebody at the IRS live, this is what you do. You dial this number. You don't hit 1, you hit 2. You don't put in your social security number. You say you don't have it. You say this, you hit that, you hit 4. You don't do this, you don't do that. And then somebody will come on the line. And 9 times out of 10, they'll say, sorry, we're too busy. Call back later. So there you go. That's
Yeah. My thing is that, I think the thing that I probably hate the most about when you take and you get into situations like that, you sit there on hold for 45 minutes and all of a sudden the phone just disconnects.
oh wow.
And you're like, or they pick up the phone, they start talking, you hear it tumble, and all of a sudden it hangs up. It's like, are you kidding me?
Yeah,
So,
or they go away for 10 minutes and they go, I'm sorry, I'm going to put you on hold for another minute. I've been on hold for 10 minutes already. What happened? What went on during that holding time that we were already on?
We really appreciate you're holding for us, and it's like, don't say you appreciate it yet. You haven't got back on the phone yet.
And then they'll say this that really gets me. Is there anything else I could help you with? Well, how about that first thing that we've been trying to work on for the last hour?
I'll let you help me with the first thing, and then we'll work on the other things.
I mean, we could probably run a little 3-minute comedy show on tech support and customer service on how it should go and how it really goes.
It never goes. Yeah.
I mean that's just kind of how it is. But you do what you got to do, right?
Well, once again, here at Community Pay It Forward, these are 2 of our brand new partners, Puma Richards and Michael Latone, Stride, and Jay Galt. And all we're asking you to do is tell your story. This is a little video that we put together. This is all we want to do. We want to tell your story to help people. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Michael Latone, and I'm with Stride Solutions. We specialize in reducing expenses and obtaining large federal tax incentives for businesses large and small. ERC benefits are up to $26,000 for each W-2 employee. That's huge. Tired of paying high property taxes? Not a problem. Get your share of $1 million. How about a huge bag of money delivered to your doorstep? Activate an account today. I'm Mike Latone, and I'm with Stride Solutions. Have a great day.
How you like that? I just decided to go on ahead and throw that on up there. You know,
Thank you. Thank you.
that's one of those great things that we get to do. Yeah. I would also, I wanted to talk to you, Puma. I want to make sure I'd like to share out that little bit of information. Of course, we don't have time to do it today, but your speech that you had last Friday, are we allowed to share that with people? Because I'd love to put that on our channel so they can learn more about what you do.
Yeah, if not, I have other videos that I could share. I'm on LinkedIn as well as YouTube. I've got lots of videos on my YouTube channel that folks can do. I also have a podcast that I do that you were on, and it's again going back to the small business owner. My buddy Billy, who owns a business, he and I talk all the time about it and how really nobody understands unless you're another business owner. And he once said to me, he goes, when I get up in the middle of the night to use the bathroom, I don't think about my wife and kids. I think about my business and what I've got to do. And all the business owners I talk to feel that same way. And so we feel like we're out on this island. And so, I know I have felt challenged. I felt, discouraged, like the world is against me, and so on. And so the idea of this podcast is keep them real short and simple, and ask folks what they do, how they got involved, and talk about a challenging time and what got them through it. And hopefully that inspires you to say, you know what, I'm not alone. I'm not, obviously I'm not the only one to feel that way. And to hear suggestions of what got people through that. And if we can inspire one or two business owners through that podcast to, you know, um, to push forward, to get through it, then mission accomplished. And so, that's small business owners inspiring each other. And so there's lots of ways, social media to connect with me, and to learn, because I think that's really the important thing is business owners, let's educate so you can make an informed decision. But it takes time. You've got to take, I'll talk with business owners and they're driving and they're, doing other things. They're walking through the store and I say, listen, this is your business. I'm
Mhm.
taking it very seriously. I'm in front of the computer. I need you to be in front of the computer and pay attention. And so, that's what I ask when I meet with business owners is, if I'm going to take this serious, that you have to take it serious and, spend 20 minutes with me and I'll hit the pause button after 20 minutes. If you don't think it's for you, we'll just shake hands and part ways. It's okay.
Yeah, and it is it frustrating. And let me ask this from both of you guys, and Puma, will start with you. Is it How frustrating is it to you when you're talking to somebody and you're bringing up legitimate reasons and they're on their phone? I was going to take and grab my phones, but I put away all my phones because they have a tendency to talk during my podcast, and that's about the only time.
Yeah.
But yeah, so whenever I'm on this thing, all of a sudden my phone needs me. But how frustrating is that to you to go, damn it, I am trying to help you out, and they're sitting there on their phone or playing with their kids or doing something other than that? I mean, isn't it? Do you get to that point where you just want to go, I'm going to try to be professional, but damn it, we're trying to help you.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I'm a single dad as well, and so my son will come in and hey, or this or that, or whatever, and that's what you go through when you're working from home, right? And now my son is 17, so it's not like he's 5 and running in and pulling on me, but
Right.
that's again as business owners, right? That's what we do. We try and juggle and balance that.
The
What
thing, I'd say the thing that I run into is giving me that 5 or 10 minutes of time, and I tell them what it is, and I say it's free money, and all I need is like a few minutes just to get a little bit of information, and I'll get emails and things like, yeah, we thought about it, we're just not interested at this time, and I'm like, I don't get that. I don't get that at all. And I don't want to beat them up sideways. I'll try a couple times and I'll say, there's no cost, no obligation. I put an average number out of my head of what I think you guys can do, and this is what I'm looking at. I'll just pull them out of the sky. It's not rocket science. It's a small dental office or whatever it is. I can figure out what those numbers are, and they still don't want to move forward. So that's what I'm struggling with, is like how to get past that point where they're willing to spend at least 5 minutes with me to see what they can do, without any commitment, without any money, without any type of, serious amount of time expended, just 5 to 10 minutes. And I understand with the restaurant owners and people like that they're very busy keeping their business going. So you're not going to show up on a weekend. You're going to show up on a Monday at 11 or at early afternoon once the weekend is settled and they got all the books cleared and everything's fine. That makes sense. But with other people, it's like the guy's working on your teeth and you're going to go, hey, get 5 minutes later on. I'm going to show this. Yeah, we're really not interested right now. And I'm like, well, I'm not interested in this dental office anymore. No.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
Is it like the culture of, all the scams? Is that the reason why whenever you say free money, available money, we will help you get money? Anytime that you say something like that, people are like going, wait a minute, what do I have to join? Do I have to wear, a white cross across my head and hand out flowers in the airport? What am I getting myself into? Is this what scares people, or the words that free money? You've heard it before, and all you have to do is go and, sign over a check for $17 to this organization. Next thing you know, your bank account's empty.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I mean, it's people getting nickel and dimed everywhere with a subscription. You sign up for this. If you don't cancel in 15 days, that's another $29 a month. I mean, that's probably part of it. But yeah, I don't know. And they have to have a genuine interest in what I'm talking about to begin with. And if they don't, that's okay. That's okay.
Yeah.
I want to make sure that they understand what the opportunity is, and they can make a professional decision all on their own. I'm just going to make sure that they're realizing what they're giving up, and that's fine. I move on, and it's okay. It's okay. And you're not going to get everybody. That's just the way it is. When you tell people to get it, they're like, why aren't people just knocking down your door for this thing? What's wrong with that? I'm like, I wish they would, but it just doesn't work that way. You got to go and get it. You got to bang on their door. You got to get their attention, and you got to make sure they understand what the opportunity is, and then let them make a decision.
Not to be harsh, that's why 90% of the businesses fail.
Yeah.
Because business owners don't think out of their comfort zone. They don't want to think about new ventures or new ideas or anything else. What really gets me is, you have a great conversation, you show all the points and everything else, and then the person ghosts you. It's one thing to not be interested, but stand up, be a professional, be an adult, and say, listen, I don't think it's for me. Don't, make me chase you down and, send you 4 emails or this or that, right?
Yeah.
Because what goes around comes around at some point.
Yeah, well, that's exactly right. What goes around comes around, and the proof is in the pudding. That's the other one I like. Right? So show me the money, right? Show me the money.
There you go.
That's another one. That's like, okay, this guy down the street did it. Give him a call, and then I'll talk to you on Tuesday. Okay, now you got a good deal. You got a good deal going.
Yeah.
So, Puma, how do people get a hold of you, my friend?
Yeah, simplest way is, my cell phone. It's 732-684-2980. That's my personal cell phone. They can call me, text me, whatever. I'm very available. And again, that's 732-684-2980.
And then, Michael, what's the best way for them to get a hold of you? It's your in phone, correct?
Yeah, my in phone's good. I could put a number in here that I put in here. It's 847-304-0127.
Yeah. Do me a favor, Puma, and go on ahead, and if you could put in your phone number, I'll throw those both up real quick in the little amount of time that we have left. So, but this is Michael's phone number. Once again, it's 847-304 02 or 0127
Yep.
847 304 0127. I'm sitting there trying to copy one phone number, looking at that phone number, and at the same time trying to talk about another phone number. That's a little difficult to do. Okay. I mean,
That is a little difficult to do.
yeah, I mean, it's really weird. I told both of you guys that I had to make this program as simple as possible. I mean, you have to keep it simple when it's a simpleton doing it. Well, look at that. Here we go.
Calling.
So, and then we've got Puma at 732-684-2980. 732-684-2980. And of course, here in the next day or two, you're going to be able to find both of these gentlemen on communitypayitforward.us. So, and all of their landing pages and everything that we've got. Guys, if there was one thing that you could tell somebody, hey, do this and your business will survive, what would be that one thing that that you would tell them? If you just do this, your chances of survival of not being one of those 90% are going to skyrocket. Michael?
Our biggest promotion right now and the biggest fun that we have right now, and it's for a limited amount of time until the money runs out. There's $400 billion in there just ready to take from small and mid-sized business owners, is the ERTC funding, Employee Retention Credit Funding. It's there. All you need to do is apply. If you already applied and got it, great. Use that money the best way that you can so that you keep your head above water. But if you haven't, you're just missing the boat. And if you wait too long, it's going to be too late because it's not always going to be there. We know that money will be there through the end of next year, probably. I don't like to say that because we don't really know what they're going to do with the ERTC funding. We know it's valid right now. It might drop by 5,000 by the end of this year, but it's up to 26,000 for each W-2 employee. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. 10 employees, that's 260 grand. 50, that's 1.3 million. 100, that's 2.6 million dollars that goes back in your pocket, for God's sakes. That's incredible amount of money right now.
And if they can't do nothing, it doesn't cost you anything.
We'll work out something else. We do other things with you. We just want to get you on board with the RTC, and you're good to go.
All right. Once again, you can get a hold of Michael at 847-304-0127. Thank you very much, Michael. And Puma, what would be the one thing that you would tell them? Do this and stay away from being that 90%.
Well, it's not so much that. It's in case you are a part of that 90%. Detach your business debt off of your personal wealth. Separate the two. Your EIN is your partner. Put the business debt on your partner, not yourself.
Very good. Gentlemen, Puma, to answer your question prior to the show, this is how I do a hour and a half. It really runs itself. I mean, it's actually a good time. So you guys are fantastic. I also want to thank Alistair Blank for coming on earlier, and everybody. You guys did such a wonderful job. We want to make sure that you guys take care of yourselves, and please contact all of these individuals. They are part of our team. They're part of our family. So they're here to help you help others. So gentlemen, thank you very much. So
thank you, Zach. Appreciate it.
Hey, everybody.
Appreciate it.
Yep, not a problem. Hey, everybody, this has been pACT for another Wednesday. We will be back next Wednesday, and we'll be doing it again because that's what we do. Please make sure you take care of somebody out there. Let me try this again. See, right here at the end, now I lose it. Love somebody out there because somebody out here loves you. Make sure that you always take care of other people because nobody has to go it alone when we all come together. You got great partners of ours, great family members like ours, like Puma and Michael, and they're here for you. You help them, they help you, we help others. That's what the program's about. If you have some old clothes out there that no longer fit you, throw them in your car. They're not doing you any good in your closet. They're not going to do anybody any good in the trash can. You see somebody struggling with the elements, give them the old hoodie. It doesn't do you any good anymore, so just do that. You made a little bit of too much food, throw it in an old butter bowl, give it to somebody who's struggling with hunger. Folks, it doesn't take money to change a life. It takes a little bit of thought, a little bit of heart. My name is Zach Clayton. You can always get us at communitypayitforward.us, communitypayitforward.us. You can also get a hold of me at my phone number, 970-909-0751, 970-909-0751. Please join us next week. We're going to have some more great guests, more great partners, and more great fun. Thank you very much. Have a fantastic week. We'll talk to you on Friday. Goodbye.
Stepping out of her fear, bring me home. Out alone, show me the way. You wanna be a part of Sunset Boulevard.